ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between. I am the Olson, and welcome back to the 2019 masterpiece of an RPG, Disco Elysium. I get the feeling that we are getting closer and closer to the end of this game. We managed to drag it out of the Hardy Boys at the 8th Hardy girl, Rudy, was missing. And we've tracked her down to somewhere in this area. She is hiding from us. Now, I had an interesting thought last night. This game is so good that I think about it when I'm not playing it. Always a good sign, I guess. The content, the next stage of the game, like always, is usually locked behind some significantly difficult check. In this case,
the once bright mural towers above you,
this one.
saying, "Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Now, usually this is like a rhetoric check or a logic check to make someone feel, more inclined to help you. This is a shivers check. And the things that are giving me bonuses are absolutely nothing to do with the main plot. I reconstructed the execution down in the abandoned apartment building where we don't know who they are, but we figured out what happened. I found the body on the pier and I notified the family. I found the empty trap, which I could tell Morel about. These have nothing to do with the murder behind the whirling in rags. So then it hit me. This is this game's really cunning version of a point of no return. Like, you know how in RPGs you get like a pop-up. Usually Baldur's Gate does this a couple times. Some Final Fantasies do, where it pops up, like just says, this is a point of no return. Do other stuff because you can't go back after this point. Which is all well and good, but it kind of takes you out of the moment, right? It's like breaking the fourth wall. Well, it's a shivers check. A shivers check is basically like how in tune you are with the city. And the way to get in tune with the city is to do more stuff. You get a better chance at passing this check. So whatever happens when I pass this shivers check is probably a point of no return. When I find Ruby, the end game likely starts. So yeah. And even when you come to the journal, they ask about Ruby in the village. Okay, it doesn't anymore, but it did. Do I have it? You see here, it really wants you to pass this shivers check, and it wants you to do it by doing as much side stuff as possible. So that is exactly what we're going to be doing in today's episode. I believe this is episode number 8. Something like that. Is we are going to finish up just as much stuff as we can before we interact with this mural and we see where it sends us. Maybe it sends us inside this building here, which I know there is an inside of this building because there's an up. Can we see it? If we zoom out, yeah. I know we can get into this building because there's stairs into it on the roof. So that's probably there's probably a way, that's probably like the sniper nest or whatever. Or the proposed sniper nest. There's clearly a way to get into this building somehow, and there's no back door. So the other thing is there's no throwaway stuff in this game. Everything seems important. So I'm going to start with this phone. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to go back to a check I remember from quite some time ago. Where is the crypto-fascist, by the way? I need to talk to him. Marked on white, so it should be available somewhere. Yeah, I do need to talk to him. I need to find... Well, at 10 o'clock at a minimum, I need to get my gun, because if I'm going to a point of no return, I'm going in armed. Let's start with his phone, because it's still lit up green. I did one credit call. It's still lit up green. There's still something to do with this.
You pick up the handset.
There
There's a
must be.
tone. The machine is operable.
Sure. Dial another random number.
Calling. Still calling. Again? Seriously?
Yes, authority.
Someone with a masculine voice picks up.
Hello, Gerard speaking.
Hello, Gerard. Technically speaking, you're electricity. No, what you are is a surprise. Get his wife on the phone.
Now, will you get your wife for me, please, will you?
Who is this?
I'm gonna hang up. Gerard isn't a name that rings a bell.
You pick up the handset. There's a tone. The machine is operable. Calling, calling, calling. Still calling. Still calling.
Stop calling me, man. I'll get you your money, alright? I just need till tonight. Let me work.
You seem to be in some sort of trouble, friend. Maybe I can help you. I'm a police officer.
The phone gets hanged up fast as lightning. All you hear is a little shuffle of nylon as the hand moves on the other end. Disconnect tone.
Yeah, well,
Calling.
I'm tired.
Sounds like he hasn't talked to anyone in quite a while.
what are you tired of?
Writing. I hate writing so much. But I have to get back to it.
I get that, buddy.
The man disappears with a sigh. You do not hear the customary disconnect tone, just silence in the handset. The machine is still waiting for you to dial a number.
That's different.
Seems like it did not have time to swallow the coin. This sometimes happens. Lucky you. The call went too fast for the payphone to register. You can still make a new one without paying.
Well, this is interesting. Dial a random number with your eyes closed. Sure.
You close your eyes and put your index finger on the rotary dial. Then pull down on the number. Then move one up. And repeat the motion. Twice. Strange. This is not how you started before.
I'm gonna keep dialing.
414447. The rotary dial feels cold from the sea air.
Let's keep going.
1117361. Your fingers keep moving like a spider. Every time the ring rotates back with a little ring of metal, like a bell tolling.
There's more.
Yes. 45167451. You are going deeper now, into some unknown place, far away from this island of matter and its telecommunication networks.
We're gonna finish it.
451. You have dialed God knows how many numbers. The headset has been waiting silently to relay a signal. Surely nothing can come of this, you think. But it does. A connection. An ultra-long distance call. Your air fills with a crackle, the wash of a strange ocean full of white noise. A little bird starts ringing in there, not like the local calling tone before. No, a small ring in a cage of distortion, far away, a distant network of phones.
What have I done?
Calling. Calling in the night. The saddest sound in the world.
I don't know about that. Phone ringing isn't necessarily the saddest. Mind you, it's up there.
Calling still. The handset starts slipping from your sweaty palm. Your breathing is heavy.
I really can't hang it up. Let it call more.
Calling. 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 calling still. Then the ocean breaks. Out of the depths, a woman's voice emerges. Small. The dearest thing you've ever heard.
Hello?
What? Hello?
Who is this?
Who is this?
Dora. Who is this? The connection is bad.
Who the fuck is Dora?
Dora. The name feels like a gift. A gift that was meant for you, to make it possible to live. In the distorted distance, you hear someone turning next to her.
Oh, fuck.
Bed springs rattle. Don't react. Whatever you do, don't react to that last thing.
Don't react.
It doesn't matter if you react or not. You still think you hear a man's voice in the background. It's covered in pain and white noise.
I'm a revolutionary servant. Let's get out of this before it gets depressing. It already is. I'm a revolutionary servant of humanity. I will free mankind and abolish the classes. I will raise the dead.
You're not a revolutionary, Harry. You're drunk.
Oh, fuck.
You only have 2, maybe 3 things left to say before the change runs out.
I'm not drunk.
Oh, God.
Hey,
Do you know what time it is? It's so late here. It's 4 o'clock, Harry. I need to wake up in 2 hours.
where are you? You sound like you're in another world.
I'm in my rover, sleeping.
Where are you going in 2 hours?
To work.
Say nothing.
No response, only a sigh. The connection crackles like burning paper.
I am the law. I'm a detective. I'm doing a case. There's a hanged man.
She does not answer anymore.
Yo! Hey, Amanda, how's it going? None of it matters. Do I want to go nihilistic? I'm gonna solve it.
Harry.
Disconnect tone. The machine ran out of money.
Sorry, Harry. I'm good, Amanda. How are you? Well, that was thoroughly depressing. How... Okay, let's... Right, this coat has to mean something. They have everything means something in this game where it's useful, except this, so it's got to mean something. Sure. You can interact with it somehow.
As you hold it in your hands, it makes an uncomfortable crunching sound.
A crunching sound. Oh god. That's when you know something is truly dirty. How does this jacket get so disgusting?
It's a sordid, filthy tale, not for the weak. Are you sure you can stomach it?
Sure. Think about it.
It occurs to you that you're not even holding the jacket itself, but rather the thick crust of jetsam and seagull shit that ensconces it.
Ugh.
It smells like a dead sea creature, tangled in grey strands of seaweed.
Awesome.
It must have spent quite some time in the water before the tide deposited it ashore.
Well, this is Disco Elysium, Amanda. This was an RPG released a couple years back. I'm solving a murder. And looking at a really disgusting jacket, because maybe it's evidence. What's the crust made of?
Somehow, it was carried or dragged to the boardwalk. If not by human hands, then perhaps the feral dogs that prowl the beaches at night.
The The feral dogs get it up on a fence.
The faint impressions of many footprints are also present, though it's impossible to tell what kind or how many. Suffice to say, the jacket spent some time on the ground before someone draped it over the railing.
What happened once someone put it on the railing?
The crust is hard. This jacket spent at least a day baking in the sun. Who knows what happened to it then?
I'm just going to pretend I didn't think about any of this.
It's too late. You've already thought about it, and now your hands are covered in muck.
Ew, ew, ew.
Now you're just flicking that shit everywhere. This is a disaster. You'll never get the smell out.
Oh, delightful. I need more healing items. But if I wanted to clean something, go to the cleaner.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
I found this jacket, but it's filthy. Could you wash it off for me?
I can wash it for you, but it's going to take about a half an hour. Think you can stay put for that long?
She can clean this jacket in half an hour? Most impressive. Yes, I can stay put for that long.
I could use a breather. It's been another track and field day.
Oh, I'm always running, Kim. Sorry. Yeah, I'll wait.
Well, hand it over then, and I'll see what I can do. Must say, I'm proud of this one. It's pretty nice underneath all that filth. I hope you'll have an easier life in your hands.
Well, thank you so much. +1 plane threshold, +1 half light, -1 drama. Interesting.
Tequila Sunset.
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around here lately?
Can't really remember seeing any women after losing my keys.
It's a touchy topic. He hasn't got laid in ages.
Sorry, buddy.
He really has no idea who this Ruby is, sire.
What's a tequila sunset? You keep saying it.
It's you. Your Tequila Sunset.
I see. How do you know this?
We've met before. Don't you remember?
No, you sure don't.
Maybe.
Maybe. You look like you want to know how Tequila Sunset came to be. You look like you want to hear the tale.
Oh, the way you presented that, my friend, I 100% need to hear the tale.
Tequila. Tequila Sunset. Something ominous there.
Go ahead.
Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday, and by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, the myth.
Was I alone?
Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your story. Stop interrupting. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the buzz. Because as far as I know, all you did was get piss drunk. Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer, and that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head right in front of them. That's pretty high concept, if you ask me.
Just a little bit, yeah, wow.
It is.
Thank you.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
What happened then?
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this, we get our drink on 24/7. Makes everything warm and glowy. I trust you know the feeling.
This guy's like the Captain America of drunks. He's just the leader. I trust him with my No, I don't trust him at all. But if I was going to be a moribund alcoholic, I'd come to this guy for life advice.
One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza, followed by a series of dings and bangs.
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking? The billboard?
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in.
Naturally.
Anyway, there was a brief silence, a gasp of silence, if you will, followed by a real commotion. We heard the carriage careening towards the coast at top speed. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of an alcoholic.
Very good advice. They're unpredictable creatures.
What we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right there on the beach, you revved the engine and screamed at the top of your lungs, "The time hath come!" So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked what time hath come, to which you replied, "The time hath come for tequila sunset, the end of all things."
Apparently, when Harry, I am Harry, Harry is me, when Harry is drunk off his mind, he becomes a prophet. Oh God, what happened next?
Your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jetty, and through the ice.
The reality contracted. Okay.
We ran towards the ice, whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed and shit, like some kind of sea monster. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was too late to get in there, though. The carriage had sunk too deep.
In this way, you and your motor carriage have a lot in common.
Very good point.
Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to party with us, which you naturally agreed to. We asked about the whole tequila sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on.
Was Tequila Sunset an event or a name?
I'm not sure. I think you were the event. Tequila sunset. You know, as opposed to a tequila sunrise, which is long gone.
My real name is Harry.
No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name is Tequila Sunset. Just embrace it, brother.
How long did we party for?
Hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, I think it was Sunday morning, you got belligerent and wanted to talk about Revacholian women. How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked you real bad. After a short while, you crossed the event horizon, looked sullen, got up, and left without saying anything.
Wow, that's quite a story.
Yeah, I bet Tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct. You must be proud to work with him.
You're a dick.
If you only knew.
Did I mention losing anything else?
Beside your gun and your badge? You said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one.
Did I tell you about anything specific about this person that fucked me?
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too.
Please, don't open that door.
No one's fucked me. I do the fucking around here.
Oh, thank you, Rosemary.
Abigail.
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit.
That would be accurate. Did I say anything about the case?
Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time.
Oh.
And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it solo now.
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
Okay.
It's not meant as a joke. He's sorry for the hermit cop.
You get a read on what kind of cop I was?
You kept apologizing for being such a bad cop and for the damage you've inflicted on everyone around you. You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid."
All right, that's enough.
It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs.
You seem like you're characterized by your storytelling ability. Want to tell me another one sometime?
Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum.
Want to tell me about how you became idiot Doom Spiral?
It depends, really. Are you willing to help me out?
You might get scammed here.
What do you need?
Booze. Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me.
I don't have any on me because I don't collect any. I have empties. Would you like empties? You can exchange those for cash. I don't have any on me right now.
Then I will see you again once you've procured some. Par exemple, my good friend Rosemary here sells all kinds of stuff.
All kinds, sir. Beer and wine.
You too, Tequila Sunset.
Well, that was incredibly unpleasant. I missed a thing in there. What was that? What about you? What you got for me?
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards. Simmer down. Simmer down, bastards.
Do I have gear that raises suggestion? -1. I absolutely do not. All right. That's a 3% check I'm never going to make. What did that do to my shivers so far?
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
So I got +2 for the made that awful call to my ex-wife, and now I know her number and her name. How am I doing on date of birth? I want this. I realize that I probably need this. This is probably going to be facing people at some point with that. Okay, let's save. Because we've done stuff. And let's go... I'm wearing suggestion -1. Am I? If we put on a different shirt, I might be in better shape there. Let's keep going.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
What happens? Wasn't there a check related to this somewhere?
Without resistance or sound, The two panels move against each other. The
Nope.
compartment is now open. Inside, you see 2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard. You stare at the card, willing your hand to move. It refuses. It's too much. Not a game. 2 octopuses are smiling. It's slightly, ever so slightly, difficult to breathe once you've done so. The drawer is locked. It's made of dark blue plastic, hard enough to beat someone. Something rattles and something small inside. Permeables. It's not hidden per se. The compartment is made for the plastic shimmers like lapis lazuli, but it is not see-through. You cannot, with your hands, you 4-sized pages hang from the clip.
Okay, so I guess that was not repeatable. What else is there? Let's see if I can help the... Let's hit the church. See if I can do anything with the nightclub. Iago doesn't care. Maybe the programmer, I can help them out somehow.
Yes, what is it?
You've seen the crab man?
No.
But you know he's around.
Yes.
He's seen you.
And?
Probably not a big deal then.
No. You're right. I'm not.
How do you feel about anotic dance music?
What? I hate it.
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Okay, wow, that was quick. Why do you hate it?
Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music.
Uninspired rug whipping. Wow. How do you feel about a club for anotic dance music?
This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here.
I see. What do they want to build then?
Take a guess, why don't you?
Some community space to help the elderly? No, a youth center.
I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you? Thanks.
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Okay. Yeah, let's go clean that up then. As long as I don't get too close to that boat, I don't crash. Although I did reinstall last night, so maybe that'll help. I did have 5 damaged files, whatever that means. It smells like sweat and laundry detergent, plus a trace of ether. Alright.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
Maybe if everything isn't quite as you're told, take a moment to analyze. I'm never hitting this.
Well, first of all, you're a smart cop, and a smart cop like you would understand if something wasn't quite right. So this should be easy.
And there's the narcomania.
Indeed. So one of them came upon the abandoned church. They want to turn it into a club for dance music, but agents of narcomania have overrun it. You shudder to think of all the narco they must have already consumed in them. Plus, and it has to be considered, you can't invent the future of dance music in this smelly old tent.
About the
Imagine
church.
if you had the church.
Oh.
That settles it. Analysis complete. Their story checks out.
Logic, usually you and I have gotten along fine, but you suck right now. Well, about the church, I did check it out.
And? What happened?
I talked to the crab man.
Oh, man! Who is he? What did you think?
He gave me this odd lecture on alcoholism before rambling on and on about mother's love.
Really? Huh. Interesting. What's he doing in the church?
He clearly enjoys the physical activity. Guy climbs like a freak.
No matter. Is he gonna be a problem?
Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back to the point. What are we gonna do about him?
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
He keeps himself physically active, thinks spiritual thoughts, and doesn't drink. Who am I to evict such a person?
But he's likely up to no good. He's a crab man. A menace to society.
I doubt that. Besides, I'm pretty sure it's impossible to catch him climbing there.
I dunno, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice friendly hyper time?
You're gonna have to live with the crab man.
I guess it's not a massive problem, now that I think of it.
Everyone is welcome to dance till the morning light! Yeah! Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but what about the other spooker? The one in Grandma's clothes? Did you see her?
I was using the mainframe when Suna, the former lead programmer of Fortress Accident, appeared.
A programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Did you ask her about the nightclub?
Well, she said you guys haven't been completely honest with me about your plans.
Come on, man. Who will you trust? The spooky programmer or us? We just want to make the world a better place. Feel the love! Get down and feel it!
That reminds me of a Borderlands character.
A half-hearted sell of something which does not seem worth buying.
The love? No, I'm really not feeling it at all.
You'll get there, believe me. When we've got our gear set up, things will be flowing and pumping.
What's under the thing there?
Anyway, now that it's settled, how did she seem? I mean, disposition-wise, about the dance club idea. Ja, oder nein? Rocking it or dropping it?
She did not like the Anotic Dance Club idea.
What a pity! That's my favourite thing in the world! And she doesn't like it at all!
A shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam? And into a laser-lit future of dance and unity? Unity! Dance!
Well, she made it very clear she won't leave until her own project is finished.
And you can't just evict her?
No, I won't evict her. We have to come up with a different solution.
Look at you, Honor Man!
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. We can make a deal not to bother her. If that's okay with her, we only want to get in the church and spread the joy and ecstasy of music. The lines in the dark exist. Coexist.
Thank you, Egghead.
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being. He's hard. He'll understand.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like Nordic dance music?
She absolutely does not.
Egghead cannot believe what she just said. It makes him pump the jam a little slower for a moment, but then he returns to the full swing of it.
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you, what do you think?
I refuse to throw her out, but I can try convincing her.
Excellent! Good luck, my friend. Goodbye, officer.
Do I have plus logic here? Yes, I do. I'm approaching these men, one of their own. Oh, that do-rag is special. That puts me up to logic 10. Hey, buddy, you cannot solve.
So,
you cannot.
How are things going?
This is all right. Special using gear to exploit roles. I'm in.
A number of things don't add up.
Yes.
Let's take a look.
I have 10 in logic. There's no way I was failing that.
How about gather around, kids?
All right, kids, now gather around.
The young speed freak puts down a busted capacitor and looks at you. The one with the large head seems very enthusiastic about whatever you have planned.
Is that ears or a collar?
Their would-be leader is less amused.
I got bad news for you, Andre. Things don't add up.
What things?
He senses something is wrong.
This isn't the makings of a club. It's a tent full of laboratory equipment for manufacturing drugs.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
Where's his friend? Did he lose his friend?
What do you mean, friend?
The other speaker, you only have one.
It's a one-speaker system. It's monodynamic. You wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music. Other speaker.
This may be the brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or one-speaker systems.
You're right, it might be the brain damage. You have no headphones. Wouldn't a cell need her headphones to spin tape?
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing.
I know you pawned them, likely for the lab equipment and drug ingredients.
I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients.
But Nosifed is here for its active ingredient.
He said it was for his nose. What more do you want?
Likely pseudoephedrine, almost exactly the shape of ephedrine. Ephedrine makes you happy, and so does pseudoephedrine.
I just found out. Thank you, Encyclopedia, for reminding the audience that not only am I a drunk, I'm also a meth head. Yes! Distilled water, cornerstone of a clean lab.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
There's no need for me to pile on anymore, is there?
No shit.
In short, you tried to use a police detective to set up a drug lab.
That's... Come on, that's...
Against the law?
I meant to say, not true.
As soon as said you've been lying about your plans, your answer was very unconvincing.
Fuck, man. It's difficult to get along with some people, but we're trying to make an effort. We are on a mission here.
So what are we gonna do with you? Journal update?
What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing. The optimal way to go about this would be indifference. It begins by you telling him you don't care about any of this.
First you tell me everything, and then I pass judgment.
Or else?
Haul you off to the pen for starters.
Okay, man. Okay. Things are just so hard for an entrepreneur in this city right now. It's not like we lied when we said we want to turn a church into the wickedest club in East Revershall. Because we do! We totally do! We just need to turn it into a speed lab before.
Priorities.
To get our foot in the door.
And why do you need me?
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in while I was getting all this stuff together. A month ago, the place was empty, and now it's all spooked up.
Oh, they're not really spooky, are they?
No, man. They're spooky, all right. It's just that they would also probably call the police if we started cooking speed in there.
But the sign was way off, too. I couldn't feel the love at all.
Whatever you think is right, sir. But please, we were only trying to make a living.
This is it. Judgment time.
I'm not gonna bribe. I'm gonna get lost. I don't want to see you again.
No, please! There needs to be a club for anodic music in there. Everyone hates each other. Everybody hates it here. It's all just drugs and we're slaves and I can't. We are running out of time.
He looks almost as old as you.
Wow.
We need a win. I promise this will be a win. We won't cook speed in there. We'll do it clean. We'll do it true, we'll do it sober and real and beautiful. This will be a victory for the light.
Don't forget that half of your dance floor, you can't hear the music. No debate. Get lost. I'm not letting some druggies take over a church.
Okay.
Pack it up, Meg.
You should be glad I'm not even arresting you.
He doesn't even look at you.
Well, that worked. All right, let's, I got my level up. I don't know what I want to spend it on, though. Actually, I do know what I want to spend it on. First, let's get my gear back. Dick Mullins hat. Commander jacket. And it was sunglasses. Yeah, visual. Excuse me. Yep, alright, we're good.
Yes?
Okay. So that solved that problem. Let's go back to the church and let her know that the problem is solved, and maybe I'll get further something? Something?
Yes, what is it?
Those ravers won't be bothering you anymore, ma'am. I told them to leave because they were planning a drug trade.
You told them to leave? Didn't think the cops in this place had it in them.
Well, thank you. Hey, about that 2mm hole again?
The swallow, you mean? What about it?
Nothing there. That's all. Just wanted to know about it.
Great. Thanks.
I'll just let you work in peace. Okay, so we're done here. Let's, rather than getting more points, because that's probably going to give me, probably got another point or two in shivers from that. And I can only get one more point anyway from that. Let's thought cabinet, let's start getting efficient here, because I definitely need some of these. What is physical instruments, and do I care about it? That would put me at 0, so no, I don't think I'm going to do that. But I am going to learn about the... unlock a slot. And I'm going to internalize this armor, because I feel like I'm going to need it. Or at least need to know about it. Alright, let's hit the whirling. I'm looking for Gary and Morel. There's... Who are you? Is that you, Gary?
Boy, am I ever so grateful to you, officer. But I'm not the only one who wants to thank you.
I'll talk to her then. All right, Lena, what do you got, girl?
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Here, I want to give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie. Mexican origin. The pin is an antique. Quite special.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of an avian skull with 8 eyes.
What?
You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
I'd like to hear more about cryptids.
You know, to hell with it. Let's have more cryptids.
Thank you, Kim.
Of course, officers. Is there a particular cryptid you two are interested in learning about?
Is this bird a cryptid?
No. It's the cryptid.
The cryptid?
Oh, yes.
What is this bird?
The 8-eyed teratorn, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago. Some even doubted the fossils were real. A mutation, they said. Until...
Mutation? All of evolution is a mutation.
You ain't wrong.
Until it was sighted by renowned Gotvaldian explorer and naturalist Uwe Plattenkalk in 21.
This renown seems a bit dubious. Your own catalogue comes up completely empty. But, of course, you are not all-knowing.
I need to hear about this sighting, please.
It happened on a botanical expedition into the vast and unexplored Oamrau Canyon in southeast Ilmara. Dr. Plattenkalk got separated from his group during a sandstorm.
Is that so? And Umaro Rao is?
The world's largest canyon system, sweetie. It's a barren waste east of the Erg Desert, an ancient riverbed completely dried up.
And what happened?
Alone in the blasted desert heat, the doctor wandered eastward, where man hasn't stepped foot in over 1,000 years, since the fall of Pericarnassus. He was lost, without any navigation equipment and desperately low on water. After a day or two, he noticed a bird high in the noon sky. A great black bird. It seemed gargantuan. Every now and then, the bird would dive down to feed on an animal carcass somewhere on the horizon. But by the time Uwe got there, the teratorn had taken off already, and the carcass was picked clean. This happened many times.
It followed him?
More like he followed it. A bird that big has many liters of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Plattenkalk followed the teratorn until they reached a great canyon wall, where the bird finally landed to rest. The professor climbed up there with a rock in his hand. He found the bird sleeping with his head tucked under its wing, a great black pile of feathers on the perch. So he approached, slowly squeezing the rock in his fist. Then the teratorn suddenly looked at him. He could see it had 8 eyes, 4 on either side of its skull, like a spider. And the man couldn't move. He was paralyzed, frozen into place with the rock in his hand. Whatever he did, he could not get closer to the bird.
And why is that?
The bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back, but every time he stepped forward, paralysis.
Cockatrice?
Uwe spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away.
How did he survive to tell the story?
The 8-eyed teratorn was indifferent to him, as long as he didn't get closer than 2 steps. It even let him feed on some carcasses up there, and the 2 unfertilized eggs it left behind.
An 8-eyed, mind-controlling bird. Fuck yes.
Absolutely, sweetie. Cryptozoologists have been tracing it ever since, but Wamrau is vast, mysterious, and holds many secrets.
Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one by the end of the decade, latest.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes, and is a living fossil and the largest bird ever to live. It also does mind control.
Kim, you're getting into it, and I appreciate it.
He's sincere. He likes the audacity of it.
So that was the last anyone saw of it?
Sadly, yes. But there are numerous reports of 8-eyed bird skulls from Il Mara. And then there's the striking resemblance to the Pericarnassian imperial eagle, an ancient heraldic symbol that is hard to pass off as coincidence. The imperial eagle, too, had 8 eyes.
Good point.
Not really. It's just stylization. The way they drew eyes. It's not a zoological drawing.
Very, very hard.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People will be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. So, what else do you want to know?
This has been educational. Sadly, we need to discuss something else now.
Of course, dear.
That's all for now. All right, let's take a look at this tie. +1 Inland Empire, +1 Volition versus +2 Drama. That's my Inland Empire and Volition. I like having high drama. Being able to tell when someone's fucking with me. I'm going to leave it as is. Hey, Morel.
I couldn't possibly shower thanks on you as enthusiastically as my wife has, but I am grateful for your assistance, officer.
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is itching for some news on those traps.
Have you noticed anything off about your friend Gary?
No. No, of course not. Why?
Are you sure?
Well, he's been a little unenthusiastic about the trip. More so than usual. But that's understandable. He just wants to get home and warm up.
Fair enough.
He doesn't want to say it, but this is unusual. Gary's been to the jungle with him, to places way more challenging than the coast. Why so eager to go home?
So I checked all the traps.
Good. Okay. And
one of them was empty.
Completely empty?
Yeah, there was nothing in the trap. No locusts, no phasmid.
No locusts? No phasmid either?
That's not ideal, but...
The empty trap was the one at your campsite. Maybe this factors into it somehow?
I definitely left that one stocked.
Right from the campsite? Just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivated reasoning. You should correct them.
What fun would that be?
Of course, more clever.
You're dealing with a subject near and dear to their hearts. It might behove you to tread lightly.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the traps, make them more secure.
Another trip to the reeds.
Are you sure you've exhausted all the alternative explanations?
Of course we have.
Uh-huh.
Wait, Morel. He may have a point. We have an obligation to rule out other hypotheses.
You're right, dear. It's a fair point. But what other explanation could there be? Pardon me. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now, and brought some great news too. My gratitude, and the gratitude of the Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol is yours.
The Société Cryptozoologique de Ravachol. I love it.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like closure? What really happened?
More games need this internal monologue.
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing, but...
Helping cryptozoologists isn't really a priority for our organization, is it? The lieutenant looks out the window, impatiently.
Well, let's develop an alternative theory.
You have your suspicions, but nothing you can form into a viable explanation.
I've been thinking, I'm just not sure it was the phasmid that took the locusts.
Really, officer? We can take it from here.
Yes, sweetie, we've already taken too much of your time.
I'll get going. How did I fail that? All right, Gary. Gary, I need to talk to you, buddy.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
I still don't know what a crypto-fascist is, though.
I mean, officers.
Can I get composure up? Let's do logic. Interfacing. Do I have composure gear? I do! I do have composure gear. What does that do for me?
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
Oh, I still might fail it.
Okay, he keeps shifting uncomfortably, but you can't make head of.
So I need to find a way to get... I guess I level up composure next. Got it. Okay. Let's go back to the mural. See how I'm doing. I think he's got armor. Also, it's only 2:30. Jesus. Also need to buy more drugs.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled.
Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something. Okay, here. Okay, here. I hope Saint Baptiste makes you feel better or something.
Oh, I see. It's still individual charges. Okay, well, I'm better now. Okay, what now? Who next is going to be useful? There's a Joyce. I haven't talked to Joyce in a while. Does she have anything new? Otherwise, I'm getting to the point where I need to either level up or kill 8 hours? Yeah, I need to kill 8 hours. I'm not going into... Oh! Went to the village on the coast, officer. See you there. I see. Awkward. Okay, let's, do anything with this?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
Not making that check anytime soon. So if I need to kill 8 hours, because I can't think of anything else I can do. This is Gary. I know it's Gary. I can't do anything else till I pass his composure check. I don't want to do this because I'm trying to get away from the sad cop thing. This hasn't come up yet. I can do this. And this is the point of no return quest. How did I get 3 points in fascist?
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to Crime, Romance, and Biographies of Famous People.
And a few more questions about the curse.
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits.
What about the wards on the back door? Are those Seminese as well?
Yes, the Simonese are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't do here.
And why didn't you tell me right away it was the curse?
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Wow. Void raves. You have new words.
There's no way that won't come up later.
The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
Farewell for now, book peddler. Okay, what's gonna kill some time?
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. A lot of shelf space seems to be taken up by Wirral-related merchandise.
Is this like the game thing? So what about all these Wirral things?
Lousy auras there. No, role-playing games are popular among those types. You know, who are into those kind of things. Personally, I don't like it. Not at all. I've heard they turn people into occult enthusiasts. That they have rituals where they try to summon entities. Highly immoral stuff. You can still buy them, though.
You know what? I totally agree. I play RPGs all the time, and now I try to summon demons. I'd probably find you, though, when I summon something. Let's look through the pile of Wirral-related items.
An endless variety of source books, lore books, and codices litter the table. The topmost book is titled Welkin Compendium, 2nd edition. There's also a large hardbound tome with intricate cover art, The Hunters of Catawak, Boreal Creature Compendium, and a Pick Your Path adventure gamebook titled Tales of Wirral, Cavern of Velkrag.
That sounds fun.
Books in a board game section? Who wants to read books?
Anything that really catches my eye?
There's a box that says Wirral, 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplements Module. The side panel notes, a fantastique adventure board game, new maps and miniatures. A sticker on it displays 25 real. That price is steep, but then it's the 3rd edition Mega Setting Supplement, so it makes sense.
I want to buy the board game.
Wonderful choice, sir. A wholesome family game.
Yes?
Not sure if that'll come up and be useful. Can I interact with it? Yes, I can.
In your hands, you hold a brand new copy of the game, Suzerainty. It's snugly wrapped in a skin of plastic. The cover features a charming illustration depicting a mass of grinning laborers loading goods onto a ship, while a richly dressed administrator oversees their work. The exact location and time period are left deliberately vague, but it's clearly meant to represent the economic relationship between the Revacholian suzerainty and its many vassals.
So after picking up a collector's item, the absolute first thing you need to do is ruin the resale value.
The plastic wrap rips off as easily as a bodice in a tawdry historical romance.
I'm gonna play this right in the friggin' bookstore. It's like it's a Magic the Gathering game.
There's a hiss as the lid slides off. Inside, you find a thick, full-color rulebook and more than a dozen pouches of various wooden components. Savor that new board game smell. A mix of wood, paper, and ink, all wrapped in the sweet musk of cardboard.
Sweet musk of cardboard. Never heard cardboard described as having a musk. Let's read the rulebook.
Welcome to Suzerainty, a game of economic strategy for the whole family. The rulebook is sumptuously illustrated and thick as a Gradian novel.
Finally, a proper game to teach children about the importance of trade and the global economy.
The colorful illustrations depict cheerful workers picking apricots, hauling marble sculptures out of crumbling temples, and harvesting a strange magenta-leafed plant. Everyone is smiling.
Oh, this is problematic.
You begin to suspect there may be a political agenda to this so-called family game. Only one way to find out.
You don't say. Keep reading.
The instructions are opaque at first and introduce many concepts you're not familiar with. Fortunately, there are many diagrams and examples throughout. You soon figure out the basic conceit. Each player represents an administrator for the suzerain of Revachol. Your objective is to increase the suzerain's wealth and renown by accumulating victory points.
And how do you go about doing that?
That's where the suzerain's vassals come in. The game features 4 vassal nations, each one home to an economically important resource. Each turn, the player collects resources from vassals where they've placed workers. They may then rearrange their workers, fulfill contracts for coin and bonuses, or build structures back in Revachol.
It actually does sound fun.
As you leaf through the pages, your eye catches on a sidebar labeled Advice for Beginners.
Let's read the advice.
Remember, there are many paths to victory in suzerainty, but successful players will find one strategy and commit to it wholeheartedly.
This is just like me playing Monopoly, and I commit wholeheartedly to the slumlord strategy. How is the winner determined, pray tell?
The actual scoring system appears infinitely complex, with a series of tables and appendices required to compute each player's final victory point total. You skip that part for now.
Let's examine the components.
You open up a number of pouches containing wooden tokens. There are also several punch boards with other cardboard components that will need to be punched out before you can play.
Let's check out the wooden tokens.
In addition to the worker and building tokens used by each player, there are also several piles of colorful resource tokens, each representing one of the game's 4 principal resources. From the Empire of Safre, orange apricot tokens. From Ilmarat, the ancestral name of Ilmara, gray marble block tokens. From the Seminine Islands, white sacks of sugar tokens. And from Supra Muindi and Sarah Maritza, magenta tokens for unprocessed cocaine leaves.
Great for kids.
Oh, those are nice.
Punch out the cardboard pieces, one by one.
Each cardboard token makes a satisfying ch as you pop it out. Soon, a neat pile of cardboard coins and counters has accumulated before you.
What? You're not going to offer to let me punch any of them out?
Oh, Kim, let's put components
you
away.
Hold the open game box before you.
Hey, Kim, want to play?
The lieutenant looks over the rulebook before he sees something that makes his eyes go wide.
Holy shit. The average playing time for this game is 1 to 6 hours.
Perfect. That will take me to almost 9 o'clock.
I'm not sure we can afford to set aside that kind of time for a game.
We totally can.
What? Does the lieutenant hate fun? Is he the fun police?
Who died and made you the fun police?
The lieutenant gives you a sour look. He may or may not hate fun, but either way, he does not appreciate your attitude.
We're trying again.
What is detective work if not an elaborate game?
Please, give me 6 hours.
Inference, attention to detail, the ability to analyze your opponent's motives.
Come on, it might help us think of more creative solutions to the case.
I do feel like my thinking has become somewhat rigid. Maybe a little diversion to keep the mind limber is just what's in order.
See? He's doing the hard work himself. All he needed was a little nudge.
All right. You've convinced me. How do we play?
I've read the rules already. I'll show you.
You explain the basic setup procedures to the lieutenant, who seems to be a quick study. You each take your bag of tokens and counters and unfold the board between you. In the center is the crown of Revachol.
I love this
Radiating
game so
outward
much.
are her colorful vassals, each one supplying some raw material desired by the suzerain. Apricots from Safre, archaeological treasures from Ilmarat, sugars from the Seminine Islands, and magenta cocaine from Supra Muindi and Sara Maritza. There's also a neat little log to keep track of your progress in case you need to put the game away and return to it later. The lieutenant goes first. He draws a contract card and moves several of his workers to the Safre territory of the board, and the others to the Seminine Islands.
All right, Detective, your turn.
You have a few options available to you. Will you try to fulfill contracts right away, or rearrange your workers to maximize production on future turns? Remember what the rulebook said. You'll want to choose a strategy early on and stay committed to it.
Stay committed to it. Okay. Let's let your workers rest for a while.
What? It's the very beginning of the game. Your workers haven't even done any work yet.
Maybe work can work a little, but not too much.
That's more like it. You produce a handful of archaeological treasures and a smattering of other resources. Meanwhile, the lieutenant spends 2 of his sugar and 1 of his apricot tokens to complete his contract card.
I just went commie. Okay.
With 4 coins and a round wooden token that he places in the center of the board.
I wish I could go back.
That's a market. It's worth 2 victory points.
Hey, why did I get one of those?
Don't worry, it was mostly just luck. You'll earn some points soon enough.
What is that patronizing tone? You're one of the suzerain's trusted administrators. You may need to put the lieutenant in his place.
I'm not even sure what points are. That's part of the problem.
Points are nothing. They don't exist. They're just an arbitrary convention that games use to reward or punish players for certain behaviors.
Oh, that makes sense.
Now, I believe it's your turn.
Glancing over the board, you see several possible strategies. Pressing more workers into service would increase your economic output and help you to survive a possible conflict with the lieutenant. Or you could ignore your labor supply and focus on fulfilling contracts for points and resources. Those aren't your only options. You could also show your workers how much you appreciate them by investing some of that wealth in them. After all, they're the ones producing wealth for the suzerain. Well, sure, you can do that. It's just not a terribly effective strategy, but then it's up to you.
Let's press more workers into service.
Using your powers of persuasion, you convince more workers to join your cause. After several turns, your worker tokens greatly outnumber the lieutenants. A vast army of expendable labor is at your command.
Gaze on your workers like a harsh but proud deity.
Too bad investing in your workers just isn't worth many points.
What do you mean?
Take a look at the scoring tables in the back. You see in Table 8C that investing in territorial infrastructure multiplies your final victory point total by 1, which is to say not at all. Whereas erecting monuments in Revachol gives you a multiplier of 5.
So you're saying the values of the ruling class are completely divorced from the well-being of the people who generate their wealth?
Yes, precisely.
Nonsense. Remember what the lieutenant said. If points are arbitrary, who cares about winning? You should reject their system and just play how you want. Now it's the lieutenant's turn to respond. He moves aggressively onto the Safre territory. Soon, his workers are producing a steady supply of extremely valuable apricots. For several turns, you struggle to respond to the lieutenant's burgeoning apricot empire.
Yes.
Eventually, you relocate the majority of your workers to Supremawindi and Sara Maritza,
This game thinks
where
like I do.
they begin producing a bumper crop of cocaine tokens.
Just sell coke.
You draw a new contract card. According to the text, there's an aristocrat willing to trade a large supply of cocaine for a number of coins and access to a rare bonus. Amplified music worth 7 victory points. You know, this isn't unlike the situation the historical Revacholian suzerainty faced in Safre in the middle of the last century.
Ooh, historical. Sideline, tell me more.
Well, the suzerain was looking for new markets for all the cocaine it was producing, and it settled on Safre. By introducing cocaine into Safre under exclusive contract, the suzerain created an extremely valuable captive market for an extremely addictive product.
Oh, that's brilliant.
If you could somehow get the lieutenant's workers addicted to your cocaine, you could not only make them less productive, you would also force the lieutenant to pay you for your cocaine tokens each turn.
Can you even do that?
Yes, you can. It's right there in the rules. Now's your chance. Show the lieutenant what happens when he patronizes you. You've reached a critical strategic juncture. How do you respond to the lieutenant's aggression?
Sorry, Kim, you're not going to like this.
With each passing turn, you slowly bleed the lieutenant of coins.
I would do that in a
his
game.
own workers become less productive and more dependent on your magenta cocaine tokens. As a matter of historical fact, this is almost exactly what happened in Safre. To this day, fully half of the former Safre Empire remains dependent on international aid in exchange for a steady supply of cheap produce.
Isn't this what they did to the apricot suzerainty in real life?
More or less.
Realizing victory is slipping away, the lieutenant launches a desperate gambit: protectionism. By erecting tariffs on your cocaine, he hopes to starve you out of the market at the risk of incurring the suzerain's disfavor. The end game is upon you. Do you escalate the trade war with the lieutenant in hopes of crushing him with your economic might? Or do you ignore his aggression and focus on building the mighty victory column structure in Revachol herself? Alternatively, you could throw the whole game away by trying to build a public education system for the children of your workers.
Well, that would never work.
The choice is yours.
It's on, Kim. Oh. Yeah, let's do it.
The lieutenant nods gravely as you erect tariffs against his apricots and sugar. This is going to get ugly. With every turn, tariffs are raised until neither you nor the lieutenant are producing any income or generating resources for the suzerain. Even in the best of cases, it's impossible to really win a trade war. But this is far from the best case, and the lieutenant's apricot-powered economic engine crushes
Lieutenant.
yours. Soon, your coffers are empty, and the map lies strewn with your worker tokens.
I hope you learned your lesson.
Yeah, never get involved in a trade war in Insulindi.
Never fuck with Kim Kitsuragi.
Love it.
Now, let's tally up the scores, shall we?
Computing the final scores is almost a game unto itself. You each spend an inordinate amount of time making stacks of coins, consulting tables, and struggling with basic addition and multiplication. After double, then triple checking your maths, you have your final score. -5 victory points. You'll be lucky if the suzerain doesn't have your whole family executed for such a pitiful performance.
I've got 15 points. Don't look too glum, detective. There's always next time. Figuratively, I mean. There's no way we have time to play this game again. Now, let's clean up and get back to work.
You hold the open game box before you.
Put the game away. That was fun. That was good. I still need to kill 5.5 hours. Oh.
Several maps have been attacked. The maps look old and faded. Your eye can... This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people. There's also a wide range of paranatural literature.
We'll look through the shelf.
Amidst the various books, you find one written by someone named Matthias W. Dundas. It's about wholeness, unity, balance.
I see.
These three things are very important to the working class mind. The point of the book, and many others on this shelf, is to give people medicinal advice in situations where they don't have access to paid health services.
How does that work?
It serves platitudes, while also telling everyone that traditional medicine, the kind people don't have access to, and which costs more than this book, is garbage, and would only give you cancer anyway, without even curing your cold or anything. Wholeness, unity, balance, on the other hand, can basically take care of anything, though it is important to note. When it's up to your mind to heal yourself, then it's because of your mind that you're ill in the first place.
Does the book say anything else?
The book features chapters on topics such as how to find magnesium. It even lists plants you can harvest magnesium from. How to continue drinking if you're an alcoholic who has destroyed his liver. And there's even a chapter on the ancient Seraïs tradition of using duck gallbladder preservatives to treat and prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Pre and post factum apply. Nothing worth buying.
Is that a primitive condom?
This is just mundane garbage. What's even paranatural about this?
Find something truly otherworldly.
The throbbing in your head increases with every passing moment you gaze at this shelf. Suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a small green book becomes apparent. The title of it reads, Medicinal Purposes of the Pale.
And there's that word again. What's the pale?
The book contains very little explanation on the matter. This knowledge seems to be taken for granted.
What's this book about?
The book contains descriptions of various pseudoscientific therapies, alternative medicines, and folk remedies involving the pale, also known as le territoire. For example, it recommends vigorously swatting one's naked body with a venik, or hand broom, made from the leafy twigs of a young birch tree from the near pale.
Sounds painful.
It is supposedly invigorating and good for the circulation.
What else?
It also recommends consuming distilled spirits like vodka or whiskey that have been aged in the pale. Readers are instructed to cover these jars in a shallow hole just inside the pale and leave them there for 30 to 60 days, depending on the potency desired.
And what does this pale aged liquor do?
Among other benefits, it is alleged to restore a damaged liver to perfect health.
Right.
That seems improbable.
How is that possible?
Is it any more improbable than anything else that human beings put their faith in?
Well, fair enough. What else is in there?
For general health and well-being, readers are encouraged to take regular strolls through the pale, though a sidebar cautions readers to limit each stroll to less than an hour. These strolls promise to cleanse the mind of worries and the body of toxins, especially if the perambulator performs this ritual in the nude. Nudity figures prominently in a number of these prescriptions.
Perambulator.
This is exactly what you need.
Anything else of note?
There's an entire section devoted to cures for men who are struggling to perform their marital obligations.
Yep.
Excuse me, sir. I believe you've been perusing that particular volume long enough. If you'd like to continue reading, I must insist you buy it.
All right.
Indeed. Something about that book does seem to have spoken to you. Well, I hope it contains what you're looking for.
Medicinal Purposes of the Pale. The cover of this heavy tome features a number of esoteric symbols.
Open it.
Flipping through the book, you find a number of sections on the general benefits of the pale. A large pharmacopoeia makes up nearly half of the book.
What's a pharmacopoeia?
You come across the following explanation. While modern pharmacopoeia are continually updated by so-called experts based on the results of clinical trials. Readers will find assembled here the timeless wisdom relied upon by generations of traditional Seolite medicine practitioners, Mesk mystics, and Ilmaran folk doctors. It's all quackery, in other words. Finally, something to calm the angry spirits that have been plaguing you. It seems to contain descriptions of the medicinal properties of various ingredients that may be gathered from the pale, as well as instructions for producing a variety of herbal remedies.
Is there anything in there about restoring lost memories?
There are a number of Seolite tonics that promise to improve your short-term memory, but nothing that speaks to your condition.
I want something that'll soothe the relentless torment of my existence.
What you're describing is booze. You don't need any herbs for that.
What about curing an apocalyptic hangover? Wow, is it really? It's 3 days on, buddy.
There's nothing in here that speaks to hangovers directly. However, while browsing through the various descriptions, you become convinced that you could assemble something from the ingredients listed here. Want to give it a shot?
All right, book, let's see what you got.
First, you need to choose a base ingredient.
Let's say fresh mint.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
Boil it with the tea made from birch bark.
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
A spoonful of sugar.
The combination of mint and birch bark make this tea relaxing and good for the digestion. It won't do much for your hangover though. Would you like to try again?
Yeah, let's try again.
Very well. First, choose a base ingredient.
Meadow rue.
Next, you'll need to combine the base ingredient with an appropriate vehicle.
Aloe vera?
Lastly, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Pomegranate?
The combination of mint and birch bark make this tea relaxing. And would you like to try again?
Nah, stuff is all a bunch of hooey anyway.
You close the book and find yourself staring at the familiar cover once more.
Ooh.
Date of birth generator.
Oh, wow.
You were born in the year 07, in the last year of the commune of Revachol, right before it fell, in the old military hospital on the ground floor, where people usually came to die during a snowstorm. The revolution had about 1 year left to go, and the fires were still burning bright. There were explosions in the blizzard. This was 44 years ago. You are 44 years old. The bloating might never leave your face, but beneath it, you still have some years. You still have some hope.
-1 difficulty to all physique passes. Learning cap for logic raised to 4. Okay.
Fairweather T500.
Woo!
Remember that weakness you were looking for in the ceramic armor? Like, maybe it can only stop small, fast projectiles, but a large, slow-moving pry bar would shatter it? Or, if I run an electrical current through it, maybe it will melt. Or, personal favorite, frequency something something radio weapon? None of that would work. You need to shoot the part of the enemy that doesn't have Fairweather T500 on it, because the armor itself is invulnerable. Good news is, so are the armor pieces on you.
+2 hand-eye against enemies and FT 500 armor. Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good. I don't have anything else I want to raise. I still need to kill... Wow, 4 more hours. I still need to pass that composure check.
Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they are.
Anything of note on this shelf?
I would say. The Greatest Innocence. Yes, most certainly. It's an important educational tool, delving into the depths of history, religion, and their relation to innocentic power.
And here comes that creepy woman again. Great, I don't need to know anymore.
Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they
are. Okay, let's see if I can learn anything from being Dick Mullen.
Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposedly stalwart Vespertine detective, Dick Mullen.
What's all this crime fiction?
Oh, crime, robberies, murders, even sexual crimes. We're fortunate to have Dick Mullen and his stories to sort all that out. You're a police officer, apparently. You should buy all of these. They really do teach a person how to be a proper detective.
Note, reading about Dick Mullen would not actually make you a better detective.
Well, let's look through the books.
Crime fiction is a disgrace. An asinine misrepresentation of the physical attributes of the arduous everyday work of actual police officers. These books greatly overstate the excitement of police work, glossing over how long it takes to actually follow up on leads and eliminate dead ends. What's more, they completely ignore the psychological hardships of year after year coming into contact with people during the worst days of their lives. Not a single mention of all the stress this work creates upon the officer's family. Detective fiction just doesn't tell the truth at all. Now, would you like a list of all the books found on the shelf?
Oh, sure.
You see Dick Mullen on the job. Get Me Mullen. The Stalwart Adventures of Richard P. Mullen. Dick Mullen and the Murder in the Orchard. The Sordid Affair of Dick Mullen. A killing is declared. Dick Mullen in the Murder House. The Final Case of Dick Mullen. An Obvious Lie. Dick Mullen in the Clock Tower. The Ordeals of Dick Mullen. Dauntless Dick. Dick Mullen's Funeral Pyre. The Murder of Dick Mullen.
Dick Mullen dies?
Oh no. Turns out he faked it to solve a case.
Are there any more?
Yes. There's also The Dame Who Did It. Farewell, My Mullen. Faking death seems to be a common trope in the Mullen series. The Morbid Tales of Dick Mullen. A dark tide turns. Tragedy calls for Dick Mullen. Another one with fake death. And, of course, Dick Mullen, the murderer. In order to catch a murderer, Dick Mullen must become the murderer. After all this, you still haven't found the answer to the one question that matters. Who is Dick Mullen?
Who is Dick Mullen?
Your quick eye notices a small caterpillar crawling across the spine of a book. The title reads, Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity.
What do we have here? Mistaken Identity?
A worn paperback from Dick Mullen's classic Hard-Boiled Phase. The premise seems to be that Dick Mullen is framed for the murder of his best friend and has just a few days to prove his innocence.
Why does this speak to me?
Could it be the motifs of unstable identities and shocking betrayals?
That's probably right. I'm a complicated guy full of contradictions.
Then this is the book for you.
Yep.
Of course. Such violence and immorality. I mean, enjoy.
In your hand, you hold Dick Mullen and the Mistaken Identity. The brittle paperback feels fragile to the touch.
Damn, the cover.
The cover features a pastiche of different scenes. In the foreground, a man in a dark overcoat clutches a pistol to his chest. Rising up behind him are two silhouettes wrapped in a passionate embrace. The tagline reads, Detective Dick Mullen must prove his innocence after an old friend is murdered by someone who looks just like Dick Mullen. Needless to say, it violates nearly every RCM regulation for a detective to investigate a murder in which he is a suspect.
Needless to say.
Are you really reading that, detective?
I'm just skimming it.
That's probably for the best. Those books aren't exactly famed for their tight plotting.
It's much more about the dark and deadly atmosphere.
Let's start reading.
The story opens with a knock at the door. Detective Dick Mullen is greeted by an old friend, Charlie Spillane, who's come to Mullen to ask a favor on this dark and cold night. Spillane needs Mullen to drive him in from Vesper to a small town along the Insulindian coast. Despite his friend's apparent agitation, Mullen does as he's asked, then returns home where he passes out drunk, as he does most nights. An extremely unprofessional and hurtful stereotype that's offensive to all upstanding officers of the law, but also extremely accurate in your case.
I can't judge.
2 days later, Mullen is arrested by the Vesper police and charged with the murder of Charlie Spillane. At his interrogation, Mullen learns that Charlie Spillane was shot in a bar in the very town Mullen dropped him off in by a man matching Mullen's description.
I see.
Desperate to clear his name, Mullen manages to convince the Vesper police to release him for 3 days so that Mullen may solve his friend's murder and prove his innocence.
Cops release their prime murder suspect so we can find the real killer? Are you shitting me?
What's the matter, detective?
I don't get who's writing this shit, but I get the feeling they aren't experts on homicide investigations.
The lieutenant shrugs, resigned to the idea that his profession will rarely, if ever, be accurately represented in art and literature. They're not shitting you, detective. This is what the writers think passes for police procedure.
Okay, so Mullen didn't do it.
Of course, Mullen didn't do it. That's the whole premise of the book. Anyway, Mullen returns to the seaside bar where Spillane was murdered and meets a beautiful, mysterious woman named Diana DeNerva.
Nice, a dame.
And not just any dame. She's truly one in a million, a knockout whose mind is as dangerous as her curves. But she's got a secret.
Man, who doesn't?
Secrets are the currency of human relations. Your secrets are unknown even unto you. So does that make you a rich man or a beggar?
Wow, volition, thank you. That's getting interesting.
DeNerve reveals that she was Spillane's lover and that he was mixed up with a local amphetamine smuggling operation. As soon as Mullen begins pulling at strings, the whole conspiracy begins to unravel. Not only is the local police captain in on the amphetamine ring, so is the son of a powerful politician and a strung-out art collector named Torvald, each of whom has his own reasons for wanting Spillane dead.
Well, tell me about the corrupt police captain, please.
Outwardly, the old police captain is a real law and order crypto-fascist, a barrel-chested man who's beaten his share of suspects to pulp. But he's also dirty and increasingly paranoid that someone's going to expose his role in the drug ring. He would certainly have the motive and the means, but the captain walks with a noticeable limp from an old war injury. Is it possible that he was able to conceal it long enough to commit the murder?
What about the politician's son?
A typical privileged twat. In all likelihood, he's just in over his head. He does bear a personal grudge against Spillane, though, a former prosecutor who nearly brought down his father's administration. The kid doesn't exactly have Dick Mullen's manly build, but he is the correct height, and while interrogating him at his home, Mullen did notice a certain overcoat that looks suspiciously like his own.
What was that about, an art collector?
Torvald, the art collector, is a strung-out mess. Frankly, it's hard to imagine him holding a pistol steady enough to actually hit someone, let alone plug them 3 times in the chest the way Spillane got did. That said, Torvald and Spillane have a long history, and while interrogating him, Mullen discovers that Torvald was once involved with Diana DeNerve. Could it be that this is all over a sordid love triangle?
Right, let's get on with the story then.
One evening, Diana DeNerve comes to Mullen's hostel room in tears. The two of them drink half a bottle of vodka, and soon they're seeking comfort in each other's arms. Yes, comfort and pleasure. The warmth of another human's touch. The burning taste of liquor on her full, sweet lips. Well, that testimony won't be admissible any longer.
How does Mullen expect to solve the murder if he's sleeping with witnesses?
The man's a prosecutor's nightmare. Solving a murder counts for nothing if all the evidence gets thrown out in court over police misconduct. That's just Dick Mullen's modus operandi. He might bend the rules, but he closes cases like no one else can.
Not sure I'm happy with this, but maybe the story will turn it around.
As the two lovers share a post-coital cigarette, Deanna Deneuve turns to Mullen and says, "By the way, Dick, there was something else I meant to tell you. I love you." Whatever it is, Mullen never hears the words. A blow to the base of his skull knocks him out cold instantly.
Fuck.
When Mullen comes to, Deneuve is dead on the hostel bed next to him. To make matters worse, his clothes are covered with her blood.
Double fuck.
Mullen trashes his blood-stained clothes and flees the hostel, knowing it's only a matter of hours before the cops discover Deneuve's body, if they haven't been tipped off already. Fleeing a crime scene, destroying evidence. Even if Detective Mullen didn't commit the murder, he should be facing years behind bars. Dick Mullen won't be sent to the clink for the sake of some legal niceties. The heat is on. If Dick Mullen can't solve both murders before the cops catch up to him, he's going away for life. Can you solve the case before the cops close in?
I've got some questions first.
What is it, Detective?
Why does everyone close to Dick Mullen wind up dead?
It's a dangerous line of work, but somebody has to do it. That's why Dick Mullen never lets anyone get too close.
I don't have any more questions. I figured it all out.
So, who did it, Detective? Who killed Charlie Spillane and Deanna Deneuve?
What's the dirty police captain?
Could be. Who knows? Only one way to find out. You begin furiously flipping through pages. Even as you know these books follow a series of well-worn tropes, you find yourself completely engrossed. You're turning pages so fast, you don't even notice the ancient spine coming unglued. You try to grab the pages as they come loose, but your fingers aren't quick enough. They're gone. Dozens of pages scatter across the floor. The last fifth or so of the book seems to have been lost. It's possible that you could gather and reassemble the pages, but it would take way too long.
Now I'll never know.
Too bad, Detective. If it's any consolation, the resolution is almost never very satisfying. And on that note, perhaps we should get back to making sense of our own case.
Last year, more than 71% of murders in Revachol went unsolved. In Revachol West, that number was closer to 85%. In your hand, you hold...
Okay, I have an hour and a half. Before 10 o'clock comes, and I can deal with whatever has my gun. Whoever or whatever.
Behind the dockworkers, a ceiling-height window. The hawthorn branches scrape the glass like bony fingers. You see 2, maybe 3 bushes grown into a single thicket over a period of circa.
I have items that let me increase perception. Now you. Don't I have perception-based items? The ugly sunglasses, don't they? No! I'm wearing my... Crushing.
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
Okay. Bollocks. What does that leave? Let's get rid of some plastic bottles.
The tear machine stands. Your bottles clunk into...
Excellent. Right. Near the fish market, which is the boardwalk. Okay. I've done a lot. Okay, let's maybe Joyce is around? I mean, she never sleeps. Maybe that was her boat. She's there, but the part where she hangs out is shrouded in mystery. Can I get to her? It's 8:30 at night. Put these kids to bed. Oh, there you are.
I'll just keep the Corda Lacey in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier. Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Something about the way she says it makes you want to sing.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, detectives. It's good to see you here. I only just arrived myself.
Oh, bullshit.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the cordelate she read. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
What is this? Destruction of property? Hooliganism? Elder abuse?
That's just Cindy being Cindy. You could ignore her.
It's just as well. Lillian and I are getting on much better. For one, she appreciates the concept of rent.
So how do you like it here?
How do I like it?
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react. Real men, real politics, real thoughts in your head.
Try not to be scared. This is just how the real city looks.
Oh, I'm not frightened, officer. I'd never...
Above you, there forms a quilt of altocumulus clouds, twisting into each other. The wind tugs and stretches them over the bay. Their cloud shadows slide over the ruins of Revachol West. Wherever they pass, the temperature drops slightly, but perceptibly.
Have I told you how they discovered this place?
This fishing village?
No, they're in Sealindian, Isola.
Oh, they haven't told me how they found it.
Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river. 50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty.
Say nothing.
It's a pity. Most of these people will never know what this place means, this island of matter, or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
I've got time.
Do we?
I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not want to delay you.
This story she will tell only before she leaves Martinez, at the very end of her stay.
I see.
Maybe there is something else I can assist you with, while you're hot in pursuit?
Found my badge, by the way.
By love, you did.
She is memorizing your badge number.
Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I am glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious. What can I help you with, Lieutenant Freighter?
I have more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
What is this?
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
What world is this?
What world? The only one, I suppose.
What?
The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the water.
What do you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough. There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Huh. Elysium. Interesting. The world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it hell.
What?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I don't feel like I've got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
What? How come?
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
How about it's a ball?
That's looking less and less likely, Detective. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol Grad.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
A dark grey corona, you say?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
What?
A cold fear seeps into you.
The pale? And what do you mean corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness. I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here. But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together. However naive it may sound.
A fractured corona doesn't feel like it's going to bring anyone together.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Doesn't sound like any kind of disco I'd like to go to.
But you already have. And you're doing just fine, despite the rubble.
The cold seeps into you. The air is heavy with 80% humidity. Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
You said pale. What is pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. We do have a case to attend to.
I've got 1 hour and 6 minutes before this case continues, Kim. Go away.
His voice is low, but firm. All she can say is,
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
The lieutenant glances at you from the corner of his eye. Was he just worried that you would find out something awful? You could sneak back later when the lieutenant is not here, unless you can convince him to step aside.
That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little...
Okay, well, that's an interesting conversation. I'm gonna come back here after I find my gun and put Kim to sleep. That sounded really terrible, but I'm going to stick to it. Go to a church. What's my shivers check at now? Autosave, thank you. Appreciate you.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Well, I'm not gonna... There's no additional points, but... I have options. I have options, indeed. Let's hang out here. I'm gonna rapidly look through case files. That'll get me the last hour I need. Time is a resource. What's this again?
The note is written with a blue...
Oh, that's not what I want. Polo, anyway. No, really. What the hell's polo? Okay.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board. An aluminium block. A bunch of sodden papers sag from the clipboard in your hand.
You've all
It's
seen these a couple times by now, so let's just click through.
Arson, petty theft, spousal abuse, handwritten law. You don't exactly. It takes about half an hour to piece one together. Some assholes brought their couch. Yes, they were leaving it. Cigarette butts. No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do.
Do it again.
Some assholes brought their couch outside. Yes, they were leaving cigarette butt. No, you didn't have time for that.
Perfect.
Not much is...
Excellent. It is past 10 o'clock. Save. Alright, if I was a... I don't even know what or who I'm looking for. If I was a person named Pig, where would I be? By the boardwalk? No. This is the fish market, right? Logically? Over here? Is this boardwalk? Nope. Okay. You must meet her near the old fish market at 2200 hours and get your service weapon back. And just walk past the fishing village until you see the boardwalk. That's where I am. Oh, hello.
Put your hands where I can see them.
Okay. She has a...
Show me your hands. This is the pigs. Show me your hands. Right now! Show me your hands! Right now!
What the fuck?
Scavenged, battery-powered police lights protrude from her back. The flickering light show reveals a gun in her shaking hand. Her hand is trembling from some sort of neurodegenerative disease.
You don't say.
Madame, please drop the firearm immediately.
Easy, ma'am. Take it easy.
Failure to comply. Suspect is displaying aggression. Officer, under duress! Officer, under duress! I am the police. Don't move. Don't move. Hands on your head. Suspect is armed and dangerous.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down. We just want to talk.
Lateral vascular neck restraint. Carotid sleeper. Carotid sleeper. Critically reducing blood from passing through the neck of the suspect.
Be careful, detective. Don't do anything that might set her off.
You'll have to go for the gun sooner or later. Perhaps you can learn crucial facts before you do.
Please identify yourself, ma'am.
It's the goddamn police, shitbag. Hug the pavement. You're under arrest.
How's she doing that to her voice?
As she waves her hands, you notice familiar-looking ampoules and packets sticking out of the mountain of police gear on her back. Medicine or drugs?
We can solve this peacefully. Please lower the weapon.
Officer in need of assistance! Suspect alert! Get on the ground!
Ma'am, please. We want to help you, but you need to lower that weapon.
Let's just talk, all right?
Disturbance reported. Authorized deadly force. Sector, take the shot! Big red key! Big red key!
Big red key? That's code for the battering ram. Cop talk. You know this.
You're not the police. We're the police.
Back up! Back up! Back up! Status unconfirmed!
Lieutenant Double Freighter Hario Dubois, 41st Precinct. This is my partner, Lieutenant Kitsuragi from the 57th.
No, no, no. I thought Mr. Moran... Gareth! Aggravated assault! Man down! Officers in pursuit!
There's a scenario unfolding in her head right now. It has nothing to do with what's happening here.
What's the situation, officer?
Law enforcement compromised! Impersonating a police officer!
Does she not believe you two are actually police officers?
We really are cops. Look, my badge.
License and registration! License and registration! Come in, dispatch! Sector! Sector! Azimuth!
It's not a code, just disjointed words.
Are you on drugs?
Confiscated contraband! Restricted access! 2 kilos missing! Eyewitness report compromised!
I don't think she's on drugs. Being off drugs might actually be the problem here.
She's frantic, confused, teetering under all that gear. There's an opening if you just move fast enough. If not, the lieutenant's got her in his sights.
I know myself. I know I'm gonna fail.
Sure, you're you, but how do we end this? She's not just gonna let you leave.
Gun, I'm coming.
Suicide by cop! Split-second decision! Eat lead, scumbag!
Oh my god.
God, I almost blew her head off.
What is this? This isn't police issue. Police weapons have bullets. This isn't real. Police guns always have bullets. What is this? Why did you sell me this?
Grab the gun, right now. This might be your only chance.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
No one ever cares anymore. Why would they treat me like this?
Great gears are grinding to a halt. The machine is powering down. She's all out of jolt.
Poor woman. We need to figure out what to do with her now.
Oh.
Nobody's ever around. Nobody ever comes to visit me.
I'm very sorry this is how life turned out for you.
Her scratched skin is warm to the touch, but the person inside doesn't even know you're there.
What do you think is happening to her?
She's in a stupor. I've seen this before. God knows for how long. Could be days when they get like this.
Why was she like this in the first place?
Honestly, I don't know. Dementia, probably. Dementia and Channel 8, and loneliness.
Neurodegenerative disease.
Could be. Her hands were trembling, and she did seem uncoordinated. But what are we gonna do with her?
We just arrest her?
I don't think there's any need for that. In her current state, and without the gun, she isn't really a threat to anyone. We could let Titus know. This is a perfect problem for the local peacekeepers to handle. They might even know her family.
Yeah, Titus sounds like the man for the job.
Then we can ask him once we get back to the whirling. But we have to hurry, because it's late, and they might have already gone home. But I think we're done here for now. Let's head out. This is done.
Please, leave the radio on.
Reflex to what? Being left alone? She stands motionless, just a heap of clothes and flashes now. Maybe if you search her once more.
That was intensely weird.
The woman stands slumped. She looks catatonic under her mountain of RCM paraphernalia. Is one of those things a police cap? There were narcotics in there too. You're thinking of taking them. Do.
Here, take the RCM cap.
She doesn't even flinch as you reach out and disentangle the familiar-looking lieutenant's cap from her mountain of RCM paraphernalia.
Oh, is that yours?
It's hard to say. It's been so long since you wore yours.
I think so.
The lieutenant nods.
+1 authority, and this is +1 encyclopedia. Encyclopedia is 5, that's fine. Authority is 5 as well. Okay, let's go hand that in, and then I'm going to sleep. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to dump Kim and then start having some more conversations. Late night conversations, which probably not the way I wanted to put that, but I'll go with it. Hey, Hardy.
The Copper NATO is back. What do you want?
Old catatonic lady in the old fish market on the other side of the bay. She needs help.
What's that, Copper? You want us to help little old ladies now?
You're local law enforcement, aren't you? Helping troubled civilians should fall under your jurisdiction.
Yeah. We'll send someone out. Who is? Wait. It's the pigs, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
God. Poor lady. Don't worry. We'll handle this. I think she got some family in Kurong or something. Bastards left her alone when she got sick. We've been getting complaints.
Hey, wasn't Everard's B team looking for her the other day? They said something about her, I don't know, finding something?
Yeah, I think you're right, Gene. She have something of yours, Pig?
Whatever you do, do not admit to these punks you lost your gun. You will suffer if you do.
Nope, didn't have anything of mine.
No? Well, whatever then, Copper.
No. They totally said what it was. What was it? Anyone remember?
I don't remember. I was fucking drunk.
Let me know if you figure it out back there. Now, anything else we can help you with?
What's her name? Her real name?
Auntie LaPlante, we always called her. Something LaPlante.
Marianne, amigo.
Marianne LaPlante?
Be anything else you wanted to know?
Who was she?
Was. Like before. Just an old lady. Her kids moved away years ago. Never come to visit. Never took her calls. She gets out every now and then. She did right by lots of us when we were kids. Always was a little off. But still.
Us kids? That must have been ages ago. She was better then. The children kept her together.
How'd she get like this?
Wanted to be a cop, you mean? Well, shit. I don't actually know. Anyone know why she started acting like a pig?
No fucking clue. It's gotta be the crazy. Who'd want to be a pig?
Law enforcement's a respectable occupation, sir.
Respectable professions don't shoot kids, Cerdo. They don't beat confessions out of prisoners.
Easy there, Al. Sit down. We got one of our own to take care of, so let's not get worked up.
Where'd she get all her cop gear?
Dunno. She lives by the water. Shit washes up all the time on the beach.
Police paraphernalia doesn't just wash up on the coast, people. It's not like we dump it at night. She bought it, collected it.
Station 41. A man carries a crate of rusted, unused badges. You think these would net us something at the annual auction? A balding detective drags a comb futilely across his head. Shit, who'd want those? Just dump them into the river.
Thanks for helping me out on this one, Titus.
No problem, old cop man. We take care of our mentally ill here in Martinez. Ain't that right, boys?
Sure enough, we're the real heroes on these streets.
Yeah, gonna take off now.
Wow, so someone's been a little boring.
What?
Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown.
I like brown.
Of course you do. And maybe some black shoes or a pristine white shirt to go with that. It's official. My lord's Copo type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax.
Why not? Send out the telefax then. I'm not ashamed.
Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic.
Naturally. Okay. I'll leave that be. Let's head to the fishing village, dump Kim, and then go deal with some non-Kim related business. 11 o'clock, buddy. Go away.
It's getting cold. This late in the night. Time to call it a day.
Night, Kim.
Good night, officer. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
Okay. No Kim. So, Joyce, how are you going to ruin my life?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
I have some more questions about reality.
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
Now that we're alone, what is pale?
Are you sure you're sure? Your colleague seemed adamant.
Yeah, what's the pale?
Okay. The pale is the most dominant geological feature of the world, Detective.
Huh?
The separative tissue between the islas. It is the inter-islary mass.
And what is an isla?
Isla is a Messinian word for a continent of matter, enveloped on all sides by the pale. Also, isolation, or landmass. We used to believe there was only one. In the last 4 centuries, we have discovered 7. Mundi, Seol, Samara, Ilmara, Grad, Katla, and this, Insulinde.
And Insulinde is?
An oceanic isla. It comprises mostly of water. Muindi is the largest, Katla the coldest, Insulinde the bluest. What can I say? Each is perishing and dear.
And what is the pale like?
Achromatic, odorless, featureless. The pale is the enemy of matter and life. It is not like any other, or anything in the world. It is the transition state of being into nothingness.
The negation of being.
So, it's literally nothing?
That's right. The negation of being.
What are its physical qualities?
It's difficult to describe, or even measure. Something whose fundamental property is the suspension of properties. Physical, epistemological, linguistic. The further into pale you travel, the steeper the degree of suspension, right down to the mathematical. Numbers stop working.
What?
No one has yet passed the number barrier. It may be impossible.
There's a slippery article in there.
Is it the pale or pale?
Pale when it's particular, this territory of pale. The pale when it's pale in its entirety. Once you've seen it, language balks at the difference.
If we're surrounded by pale, how do you get from Isola to Isola?
Oh, it is so difficult for us.
A squall of birds. Hardware operating in the harbor. Firm. Self-evident.
It is possible to force dimensions on the pale. In modern times, we can even compress its latitude, bouncing radio waves from one end to the other, shortening the path. But it is still hard for humans to navigate the pale without getting lost, or having our minds damaged.
The pale can damage the mind?
Extensively.
How?
Some say the damage stems from extreme sensory deprivation. Others argue that Pale somehow consists of past information that's degrading, that it's rarefied past, not rarefied matter. They call it the blend over of the self. The Pale does not only suspend the laws of physics, but also the laws of psychology, maybe history even. The human mind becomes over-radiated by past.
Who says and who argues?
Who says and who argues?
The logical positivists say, the dialectical materialists argue.
What does this over-radiation feel like?
It feels terrible. Absolutely terrible. International standards strictly limit civilian travelers to 6 days of Pale exposure per year.
It's more for her. Way more.
You're not a civilian passenger.
No, Lieutenant Dubois. I'm entreprenetic business class. I'm cleared and trained for 22 days of Pale transit annually.
Perhaps that explains her strange pining after the revolution. Some degraded early memories. Someone else you've met may have been exposed as well. The strange grey-haired woman in her lorry.
Do lorry drivers pass the Pale?
Yes. Carried in the hulls of airships. It's a horrific job. Automation will abolish it soon.
You should ask the Pale driver about this. See what she says. That poor woman must have stories to tell, like you wouldn't imagine.
Are you over-radiated?
Up to my gills, officer.
Okay.
An acidic smile on her lips. It's getting worse every year.
What is entroponetic? Where'd that come from?
Entreponetics is the scientific study of the Pale, or a recent iteration of it by way of grad. The study of the Pale reaches back 6,000 years. The Pericarnassians called it the Western Plain.
They had not traveled the entire circumference of the Pericarnassian Super E-Solar. It was not merely in the west, it was everywhere, even then, surrounding them.
Did they cross it, the Western Plain?
There are signs of pre-modern crossings. Successful navigation of the Pale relies not just on technical know-how, but intensive psychological preparation. Some of these tactics have been known for thousands of years.
What has entroponetics changed, then?
Nothing. We remain powerless before the Pale. The only real advance in Pale transit is the speed with which an aerostatic craft can pierce it. Less exposure leads to less effects later.
Aerostatic craft?
Hybrid airships, Detective. Conventional rotors or jet engines no longer add velocity after the point of reference for motion is suspended, once you've crossed from near Pale to far Pale. In essence, we throw them in and they come out the other end. If we throw them precisely.
If we do not?
Then they don't.
So we don't use engines or rotors. We basically use the equivalent of giant paper airplanes, toss them from one side and hope they end up where they're supposed to go?
Gone, like a skipping stone beneath the surface.
Is it here?
No, Detective. We're safe. It begins there, 6,000 kilometers to the north, and even more to the south, east, and west. You are in the middle of the Isla.
As your gaze instinctively turns north, a small black pit opens up in your stomach.
6,000 kilometers from the end of the world?
Yes. That is enough. Many cities are built much closer.
And there?
An uproar of matter, darling. Rising into the Pale. Rolling. Evaporating even. A great vision. The area of transition between the world and the Pale is called Porch Collapse. Imagine a grey coronal mist, cold vapor marked by spores of an opportunistic microorganism, a mold that's adapted to grow at the edge of the unrest. It's the most disco thing you will ever see.
Okay. How much Pale is there compared to the world?
The Pale outweighs reality 2 to 1. There is more Pale than there is matter, and the ratio is slipping.
Slipping how? To our detriment, or...?
What do you think, Detective?
It's growing. There's more and more of the Pale.
Precisely. One of the few measurable effects of the Pale
is that it is expanding at an unknown rate. An intuitive conclusion of that development is that one day the Pale will cover everything. But this sort of talk is mostly left to extremists.
Cover everything? Where would we go?
Most people, and indeed most private and government sector organizations, entire civilizations and religions even, find handy ways to ignore or downplay that knowledge. I suggest you do the same.
Off we go. You see the hanged man's mouth open.
Off we go into the wild Pale yonder.
One and all. They say Pale is death, but for the universe.
Why should we just leave, and the world get left behind?
Let's return to reality, please.
Yes, sweet reality. But before we do, tell me, Detective, is this the first time you're hearing this? Do you really not remember anything?
I'm getting a sense of who I am, but no, I didn't know this.
Beyond curious. Tell me, what do you think of the Pale?
It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Your ailing constitution, sweaty forehead, the beads there, and your heavy breathing.
You really didn't know. This does not spell good for the investigation, Detective. If you don't know even this, then...
I'll handle it. It's under control.
I hope so. I truly do. If I may suggest, hold on to your colleague, Kitsuragi. I ran a check on him and he is very competent. In the meanwhile...
Some of that assurance is meant for herself, as much as it's meant for you. She must have a lot on the line here.
You have me. I will assist you in any way I can, even if we have to do it one basic term at a time.
Well, that's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else?
Well, thank you. That's all for now. All right, let's... What are my odds of getting a date?
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
8%.
Simmer down.
That's not gonna happen. I've still got time. Before I want to go to bed. Good idea, game. Let's save. Let's head back to the whirling and see if I can get anything out of Gary the crypto-fascist without... Oh, he's gone. Welp. Okay. So that is going to be my first stop in the morning, I guess. Whew. I got a bullet, right? Yeah, I picked up a bullet from, I have one bullet. It's a 9mm. That should be enough. Don't really plan on shooting anyone. Alright, let's get some sleep. Are you still out here, old lady? Go to bed. 11:30.
It's getting late. The bed is comforting, if a bit run down. Still, you've earned a rest.
Go to sleep. Let's find out what unpleasantness wait me at night.
The bed underneath you is soft, if lumpy. Waves wash the sand underneath the hut, then grow distant to your ear. In the quiet hum of the organic heater, you fall asleep.
Like a deftly cast fishing net, sleep pulls you out of the world and into its dark shore. The rough mesh chafes, tightening around you, it digs into your brain.
I was wondering where you were. Great, this is going to be really chill.
How have things been going for you out there? Helped anyone lately? Saved anyone lately? Murdered anyone lately?
This bastard isn't even listening to you.
Because you know you are a murderer. A disco music listening psycho killer who offs poor people. And then forgets about it.
So, shut up. I just want to sleep.
Hear that? Iceman wants to sleep. He doesn't care about killing people. That's nothing to him. Black water under the bridge. The thing he's really scared of is much, much worse than that.
Why are we doing this? I just want to sleep. I can almost see the dark.
We're trying to help you. All these processes, these tortures, voices and tremors are all just distractions, flares and countermeasures to keep you from the last dream. The worst of them all.
The last dream?
The last dream will be total annihilation. Cinders peeling off the fuselage. We won't be there to help you anymore, Harry. We will be dormant. You will be naked and alone.
And the air will smell of apricots.
Of hell. An ancient sadness, brother. 10,000 years later, in front of the video rental, there is a warm breath on your face again. Everything is okay again.
Everything is so okay.
Doesn't sound like it'll be okay.
Your eyelids flutter open for a moment. When you close them again, you sense the light of the room around you. You're back. In 2 seconds, the alarm will ring.
The last thought in your head before waking is, maybe you shouldn't have seen that stained glass window in the church.
Okay. Okay. All right, I have one last piece of business before I... Hey, Kim. Excuse me. All right, where's Gary? There you are.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law. I mean, officers.
This your mug?
My mug? Why would you think that?
I can see you recognize it. It's in your eyes.
I may have had a similar looking mug in the past. That's all.
I believe you. You look like the kind of man who knows it's a crime to lie to an officer.
Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. You're not going to find me. Whew. I don't know what...
What did you do?
Nothing!
Here we go. Start pumping that sweet info.
Armor?
An infant could see.
All right. Of course, officer.
Okay, let's put some points into composure. Let's equip a composure item, because I only have one. Right, there's nothing else.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched. The magnesium levels in your blood are dangerously low. It's about the low magnesium levels and not the high alcohol levels.
So there's a lack of magnesium in me.
Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream.
I need to mag it up.
You need to get so magged up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already.
No, just
and
one.
The only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium.
Just one, and that was a couple episodes ago.
1 stroke? Don't be so modest. He's having one right now.
You're saying I need to become a magnesium-based life form?
Yes. If you want to live, you need to evolve. You need to transcend the carbon barrier. Go to the apothecary and buy insane amounts of magnesium. It will reverse the damage to your circulatory system. Just remember, it's not the alcohol. Buy more of that too. Alcohol is not the problem, and it's certainly not the dextroamphetamine, nor smoking for 40 years. It's the lack of magnesium and excess of coffee. You should stop drinking coffee. It wreaks havoc on your gastrointestinal system.
I will not hear slander of coffee, thank you. What's this?
Hear that? The magnesium levels in your blood are... Yes, and you need to... 1 stroke? Yes, just remember. And it's Norse.
You know it's a good thought when it comes up 3 times. I don't think I'm going to do that.
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
Okay, you keep shifting uncomfortably, but you can't make head or tail of this sound. And honestly...
Do you know what? I normally don't do this, but I can't think of another way to gain experience, and I want what he has. I am save scumming in the name of combating crypto-fascism. That's what I'm doing today.
Always a pleasure. I mean, officers.
That shirt looks very uncomfortable on him. Look at the buttons, barely keeping that thing together, as if something is ready to rip out from underneath.
Something's worn underneath it?
Yes, like a piece of ceramic armor, for example. One that makes a clicking sound when the plates meet each other, resembling pearls or marbles, stolen from the corpse in the yard near where he lives.
I see you're a connoisseur of high-quality combat gear.
I knew you'd figure it out, officer. I'm sorry I didn't tell you at once. I was ashamed of what I did. And I didn't want you to know.
We're not detecting falsehood, sire. He's gearing up to admit the truth. This shame is surprisingly sincere.
Well, thank you, Gary.
Gary, what's going on?
I took the hanged man's cuirass. I didn't mean to.
God damn it, Gary.
I know.
Shame on you. Give the cuirass to the officer at once. Gary didn't mean to interfere with your investigation, officers. He's just thick-headed and poor as dirt. But he's always helped us, given us a place to stay. And he's followed Morel into God knows what jungles.
He's a loyal friend.
Give me the armor, now.
He sighs again, hangs his head, and unbuttons his shirt fully. A cuirass that matches the dead man's boots comes into view. Soon it is in your hands, smelling of his sweat. But so light to hold, like a bag of cotton.
Why did you really put those clothes in the trash?
Everyone was picking those pieces off him, and I was watching them do it. And they'd scattered his clothes all over the yard, everything. So I went there to take out the trash and started cleaning up. All those rags on the ground, him swinging up there, and I had a lapse of honor, sir. I thought, he's a foreigner. They all say he wasn't from here. Only the cuirass was left, so I stripped it off him. It was early in the morning. No one saw me. I took it with me. It was a mistake. Had I known it'd give you guys trouble, I wouldn't have... Fuck.
Is he gonna cry?
We're detecting sincere contrition here, sire. He's not trying to flatter anyone.
It's okay. It was a loose end, and you are tying it up now.
I'm so fucking sorry I called you Yellow Man. Seolite officers commanded the suzerain's navy. Most of them sided with the king when...
They were thoroughly conservative men, he realizes suddenly. It's difficult to say what the lieutenant thinks of this historic apology. His face does not belie emotions.
Are we done here, Gary?
Yes, absolutely. I will never do anything like this again.
Well, thank you for your cooperation. That feels valuable. -1 empathy. What's my empathy at? 4. I'm going to leave it off for now, but I'm glad I have it. Okay. Get some proper boots on. Let's head back to church. So we're gonna open the we're gonna pass that shivers check somehow. Not sure how. We may save scum it again because I've ripped the band-aid of dishonesty off and it suits me. Oh no, begin a life of lies and iniquity. Alright, if I was a 12-year-old, or however old this kid is, and my dad brought me to the same dirty factory 2 days in a row to stare at a single poster for 12 hours, I wouldn't have done anything because I was a wimpy kid, but still, that is something. Where's my shivers gear? Okay, that's as much as I can do.
The once bright mural towers above you, saying, Feld Electrical, R&D. Tomorrow is just a whisper away.
Yeah, I got a +1 for getting my gun back. +3 for the empty trap. +2 for talking to my ex-wife.
Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead, no rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
What was I even attempting to do here?
Trying to talk to the wind, the city. Whatever you thought would happen did not. And now you're just standing there in the pale of the morning, with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas?
She could be anywhere. How do we find her?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. Okay. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village.
And if that fails?
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, storm drainage, displays. I'm sure it won't come to that.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you. Buckle up and raise your collar. This search is going to be wet and cold. The once bright mural towered suddenly in through.
She's down there.
Oh, shit. I completely clicked through. I'm an idiot. Suddenly there's a sigh carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. Wraps the collapsing stone box in front of you on her breath, flowing through it. In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints and the dust on the stairs. Then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away. Happening. She's down there. I think she's down there, below this building.
Okay. Why?
We've looked everywhere else.
Right. How do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
There's a ladder next to a sign. And maybe we can climb it, enter through the roof?
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
Get my other gear back on.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
Assess the situation.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180?
180 sounds about right.
Not to mention that the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
What?
Astral projection. Be open-minded about this.
What if I don't climb? What if I teleport?
Teleportation is not a thing.
Even if it isn't, no one told you.
It is for me. I can't remember it's not a thing.
That's not how physics work, detective. And even if it were, wouldn't you need some kind of apparatus? A teleportation field or...
Won't hurt to try.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
He is restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now.
Let's teleport to the roof.
All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate.
What?
Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is...
Do it.
Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Okay, well, that's impressive, but...
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
Don't gloat. Just stand there like a Samaran master.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly. blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring without backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
Okay. You know what? This feels like a great place to stop. We're gonna find out what's in that building next stream. Yeah. That was incredible. I just teleported. Harry Dubois disobeys the laws of physics, and that is awesome. Wow. Fucking love this game. So we're off tomorrow. Likely we'll be back on Thursday afternoon-ish for more fun times with Disco Elysium. As always, thank you very much for watching. If you watch this on Twitch or VOD, don't forget to follow. If you watch this on YouTube sometime in the future, like, follow, subscribe. Every little bit helps, gets the reach out there. Again, I am the Olsen. I'm going to rate it, see if I can rate a channel with someone else playing this game just to see what happens, because I haven't touched that button yet. So, let's have fun. Who is playing Disco Elysium right now? Does anyone? Patsy Nook, I don't know you, but you're getting a raid. Have fun, my friend. I don't... Theater settings don't allow me to raid. That's fine. Well, I'm just going to not raid then. Everyone have a fantastic evening. Thank you so much for watching.